Good evening and welcome to another enlightening episode of the program Service to Humanity, a program that keeps you informed on the activities of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. My name is Habiba Zakzok, your regular anchor. The past few weeks have been quite busy for the ministry as it distributes engagement letters and tablets to independent monitors in various states across the country. Tonight, we bring you highlights of the distribution in Lagos and Kaduna states. We will also bring you updates on the inspection of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program in Lagos State. In another segment, we have a report on the activities of the Northeast Development Commission, which is an agency under the ministry, working tirelessly to help mitigate the impact of the insecurity in the northeastern region. Service to Humanity starts in a moment.
Across the 6 geopolitical zones.
They should use this money for what it is meant for, previously to take care of their family.
In 36 states and the FCT. Over 6.4 million of Nigerians poorest of the poor in about 1.3 million households receive conditional cash transfers of 5,000 naira monthly under the Household Upliftment Program of the federal government. Their joy knows no bound.
And the government very well because they did well for us.
It helped me to do any other thing, my family.
Reducing absolute poverty, promoting shared prosperity through the Conditional Cash Transfer Initiative. The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in service to humanity.
Our first segment is the Management Diary, and in the lineup, stakeholders' engagement on enumeration and upscaling of the school feeding program continues just as CSDP scores Minister high in providing coordination for social protection programs.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, has met with stakeholders in Zamfara State over the enumeration of beneficiaries and the scaling up of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. While addressing the meeting, the Minister expressed her pleasure and satisfaction that the federal team and stakeholders from the Ministry of Education, National Bureau of Statistics, National Orientation Agency, UBEC and state education boards alongside other parastatals are working together to verify existing numbers as well as update the records. This, she said, will deliver better effectiveness, transparency and accountability to the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. Sadia Umar Farouk explained that the enumeration exercise, which will be done all over the country, is based on the need to do more on the NHGSFP in order to bring more Nigerians to benefit from the government's social protection mechanism and to look at scaling up the numbers of pupils benefiting from the program as directed by the President. While speaking further on the school feeding program of government, the minister described it as having serious potential for socio-economic development. She said so far, over 100,000 cooks and more than 100,000 smallholder farmers are employed and participating in the implementation of the program. She therefore encouraged all stakeholders to do all they can to ensure that more children benefit from the scheme. The creation of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has been described as being timely and very beneficial to the advancement of the social protection agenda as well as poverty alleviation. This much was re-emphasized by the National Coordinator of the Community and Social Development Project, Abdul Karim Obaje, in a recent interview. The CSDP, which recently rounded off activities in Nigeria after 11 years, was under the purview of the ministry.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development came in to fortify and strengthen that resolve for all social protection programs and projects to be controlled under one umbrella. I was very glad that somebody who is a veteran in the area of providing support to poor and vulnerable in this country from the antecedent of the current Honorable Minister is appointed to head this ministry. So we have seen spectacular coordination of efforts across all the social investment programs, including CSDP and ESO as we speak. So that is wonderful.
Mr. Obaje also spoke on the major impact the ministry has had on social protection programs in the country.
One key advantage, benefit of the inclusion of CSDP and ESO, and of course national cash transfer, is integration of efforts. It gives opportunity to the Honourable Minister to understand how these other projects are contributing to poverty landscape in the entire country. So, I mean, in her capacity as the Honourable Minister, brief Mr. President. So, we now have a coordinated approach to reporting of our activities, and that creates opportunity for synergy and cooperation among all these programs and projects. So, the longer they stay, the more this synergy will become manifest.
Meanwhile, communities that benefited from the CSDP have described it as a huge success in poverty alleviation, rural transformation, amongst other social development initiatives.
This program has been impactful to upgrading the livelihoods of the poor and vulnerable people. It had also helped to close the security gaps in terms of making sure that agricultural value chain are being expanded, and also making sure that small and medium-scale enterprises are being upgraded so that the economy can be stimulated.
It's been a very bountiful journey with the emergence of a lot of micro projects in the states. The advent of the CSDP led to the emergence of many projects in the states in the area of electricity, education, and to mention just a few in the rural areas.
You are watching Service to Humanity. To ensure accountability and transparency of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, a team comprising stakeholders recently traveled to Lagos to physically assess the implementation of the Homegrown School Feeding Program in Lagos State. They met with the aggregators, the cooks, and the pupils who are being fed. We bring you a report of some of the interactions. Do sit back and keep watching.
A federal team of inspectors comprising stakeholders recently embarked on monitoring of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, a component of the National Social Investment Program under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Starting with Lagos State, the team set out to see firsthand how the pupils are fed, while also interacting with the food vendors and aggregators driving implementation. The team paid a visit to St. Peter's Anglican School, Ikeja. The cook here spoke on the food given to pupils weekly.
This is our meal for today. This is our jollof rice. The jollof rice gives the children energy. So this is the beef. The beef gives them protein. And this is the fruits, give them vitamin C. So the children always happy whenever they see us bring the food into the class. So they will say, Mommy Oloje, what are you bringing tomorrow? We like your food, you cook well. I'll be coming to school every day. So it make them attend class every day.
The pupils are served under hygienic conditions and made to wash their hands before meals. Two of the class teachers speak on some of the benefits of the food given to the pupils by the federal government.
And this homegrown feeding that federal government have given the children, they help all the children because some of them, their parents don't have enough money to feed them. But when they remember that the federal government is giving them food in the school, they always be punctual to school. They always come to school regularly every day.
Thank you to the federal government. A big thank you to the state government and every other body that is in support of this food growth program.
Appreciating the federal government, the pupils expressed their gratitude.
The food that I eat today is jollof rice, meat, and carrot. And thank you for eating rice, jollof, and meat and carrots. I thank you for government.
Some of the aggregators visited include the fish farm, which supplies the fish component in the meals. Here, the team was taken through the entire process of getting the fish from fingerlings through to table size, processed and packaged for onward distribution.
After this stage, there is a sealing machine which we use to seal it up.
Other aggregators visited were vegetable farms, the yam market and the non-perishable food stores.
Rice is very good and it's carbohydrate and it gives energy to the children.
While speaking on the importance of their various food products, the aggregators under the Lagos State Homegrown School Feeding Program appreciated the government for the initiative while appealing for the program to be sustained.
And we are happy to be part of the program. We are very happy. I want to thank the federal government for what they are doing. Because if you look at the number of out-of-school children, Lagos is very big, about 25 million people. You will be surprised that even in Lagos, there are out-of-school children. So they needed to be encouraged. The program should be continued. And the suppliers and aggregators also should be encouraged.
The Lagos State focal person for the NSIP programs, who accompanied the visiting team on all its inspections and interactions, also spoke on what else can be done to improve efficiency in the program.
Accountability and integrity must count in what we are doing here.
The distribution of engagement letters and tablets to independent monitors has continued across the states. The independent monitors are being engaged to ensure adequate implementation of the national social investment programs across the country. With the formal distribution of their engagement letters and tablets, they are being equipped for the task ahead. Our report today will focus on the distribution exercise in Lagos and Kaduna states. Let's see how the ceremonies went.
206 monitors were engaged in Lagos State to ensure effective and successful implementation of the National Social Investment Program's NSIP. Representing the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, the Permanent Secretary, Bashir Noura Al-Gari, during the distribution of engagement letters and tablets to the independent monitors, shed light on the tablets being distributed and the application in each.
These devices are equipped with an application that will be used to report on monitoring activities of the trained independent monitors. Let me also say that all devices to be used for monitoring the program are locally made in Nigeria. And the monitoring application was also designed by a Nigerian indigenous company. Now, the application, which we call the Social Investment Management Information System, which is titled the SIMIS, is a mobile and web-based application designed for monitoring the National Social Investment Program. Using this application, the ministry sees real-time report of activities of the independent monitors on the field, that is you. We can view reports submitted and see the NSIP performance indicators state by state.
The Permanent Secretary further explained the scope of work while urging monitors to carry out their duties diligently to avoid being disengaged.
The ministry therefore reserves the right to disengage an independent monitor for misconduct or non-compliance with set guidelines and directives. I therefore urge you to carry out this assignment with utmost sense of patriotism, diligence and sincerity. We at the ministry, and I'm sure the Honorable Commissioner, will not accept anything less than these standards that are being set.
The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, was represented at the event by Lagos State Special Advisor on Housing, Mrs. Toke Benson Awoyinka. She commended the federal government and the minister for their commitment to achieving the objectives of the National Social Investment Programs.
I congratulate all the trained independent monitors that have been given their letters of engagement and tablets today. I urge you to see your engagement as a call to service and an opportunity for you to contribute your quota to the success of this very important program of the federal government. You have a duty to exercise due diligence and demonstrate commitment in the application of the skills and knowledge that have been imparted on you during this training exercise.
On her part, the Lagos State Commissioner for Wealth Creation and Employment, Mrs. Yetunde Arobike, charged monitors to ensure adequate utilization of funds while in the field.
To all independent monitors, aside regular monitoring, you are required to ensure that resources meant for these programs are utilized in your communities. Ensure transparency and accountability in the process of execution and regularly evaluate and monitor the impact and the level of preparedness of the implementation of these programs across the board. Having considered the robust process during the training exercise, which require for better implementation of this humanitarian service and a call to service program, there is no doubt that you need to be highly dedicated and committed to render selfless service to the vulnerable and the indigent in our society.
Beneficiaries appreciated the federal government and the minister for the opportunity to serve their nation as independent monitors.
So I want to sincerely use this opportunity to appreciate the federal government for this kind gesture. Aside from the monetary aspect, for aiding us with the technology to be able to go around and do our work as expected, and I see it as part of my little contribution to the development of this nation. And I once again want to thank the Honorable Minister and the President for this kind gesture.
I want to use this medium to appreciate the federal government. Thank you very much for this opportunity given to us, and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Social Development. Thank you very much.
Same was the story in Kaduna State, where 198 independent monitors got engaged. At the flag-off ceremony, the minister reiterated the need for monitors to report activities in the field effectively. She was represented at the event.
Please be informed that independent monitors are not allowed to assign their responsibilities to third parties. Every independent monitor will be held accountable by the ministry for the tasks given to him.
The state governor, Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, was represented by the state focal person, Mrs. Saudi Amina Atoyebi, who appreciated the federal government for the National Social Investment Program, which she says has been the major contributor to social protection in the state.
Since the establishment of the National Social Investment Programs, comprised of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, N-Power, JEEP, Conditional Cash Transfers, and the other component, which is the State's Operations Coordinating Unit in 2017, these programs combined have supported more than 815,000 direct beneficiaries in Kaduna State.
Some of the beneficiaries, after receiving their engagement letters and tablets, appreciated the President and the Minister. They expressed how prepared they are for this great task.
I really appreciate the Federal Ministry for bringing out this opportunity to people like us who are ready to work.
Welcome back from that break. In our next segment, we take a report of an activity by the Northeast Development Commission as it graduated another set of the beneficiaries of ICT training while launching the Rapid Response Intervention Project in Borno State. The Commission also distributed learning materials to public and private schools, COVID-19 preventive items, and agricultural inputs to organized groups as well as security agencies. Let's get details of this intervention.
The ceremony to officially launch the NEDC Rapid Response Intervention Project RRI and the graduate beneficiaries of ICT training in Borno State drew top government officials, traditional rulers and many other dignitaries. The Commission also distributed learning materials to public and private schools, COVID-19 preventive items, and agricultural inputs to organized groups as well as security agencies in the state. While giving his speech, the MD CEO Northeast Development Commission Muhammad Al-Ali appreciated all stakeholders for their endless support, which has helped the Commission in achieving all the successes recorded in Borno as well as other states in the Northeast. He spoke on the objectives of the training, the enrollment process, and the next step the Commission intends to take.
About 61,000 candidates applied. However, due to the present carrying capacity of the 6 centers, we admitted only 1,400 in the first batch. I am happy to inform you that from this number, 166 trainees from Borno State are graduating today. Another set of 1,200 candidates were already invited to participate in the second batch of training commencing soon across the 6 states.
While congratulating beneficiaries of the ICT training program, Muhammad Al-Ali stated that they will be equipped with starter packs to help them effectively practice all they have been taught. He urged them to make use of the knowledge they have acquired and be good ambassadors of NEDC. The governor of Borno, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, in his own remarks stated that the ceremony is a celebration of one amongst the many projects successfully completed by the Northeast Development Commission in Borno State. As the chairman of the Northeast Governors Forum, he assured the NEDC of his support in all aspects of their projects towards achieving peace in the region.
Let me assure the Northeast Development Commission, the government of Borno State is committed to working with you and shall remain absolutely devoted to its responsibility in championing the return of peace and development of Borno and the Northeast.
166 beneficiaries graduated as the first batch of trainees under the scheme. Each received a starter pack and 20,000 naira to commence their business. In Gombe State, where a similar event took place, 200 beneficiaries graduated as the first batch of the ICT training scheme. The governor, as well as the MD and CEO of the commission, urged the graduates to diligently use the opportunity and training provided for their own good and for the nation.
I've urged the youth, especially those that got this training, to make sure that they excel and have the capacity to go elsewhere out in the world in order to work and to bring good name to Nigeria.
During the event, the NEDC provided 1,500 bags of improved rice seeds, 4,500 bags of fertilizer, and cartons of agrochemicals for farmers, amongst other items. In furtherance of its quest to boost ICT knowledge and use amongst youths, the NEDC ICT Training Center in Gombe was also commissioned by the governor of the state alongside other dignitaries. Some of the beneficiaries spoke of what they had gained and how they intend to put it to use.
What I have learned is computer graphics, that's graphics designing. And I have learned a lot in the sense that I have intended to start a home business. And the business I will do include making memos for wedding anniversaries, wedding ceremonies, making production of invitation cards for events, and stickers, calendars, and logos at home.
Northeast Development Commissions has come and impact so much in me. I have learned in graphic designs on how to do so many things that will help me in life, that will help others and the country as a whole.
For you, the youth and future of the family.
This morning now, you build a very new success into my life. This money that I've collected today, I did not expect it.
Business will be very big.
I'm very grateful to the federal government for giving me this money.
On this this note, we end this episode of Service to Humanity. Join me same time next week for another episode of the program. Until then, do stay safe. See you next week.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, NEWAGE TV, and don't forget to like, share, and comment.